Well, of course, right now in studio, of course, we know there has been an agreement today, and we have two people who are in that meeting. On my left, of course, is Haron Mwangi, the CEO of Media Council of Kenya, and on my right is a member of the Energy and Information Committee of the National Assembly, Engineer James Rege, also a member of Parliament for Karachuonyo constituency. Thank you very much for making time for us, both of you tonight. I will come to whether it's possible to have all the MPs, over 233 MPs, tomorrow in Parliament, and how you'll lobby, or you'll help us lobby for that. Let me start with you. We know the President did not assent to the bill as it was earlier before, the Kenya Information Communication bill as it was before. He sent back a memorandum to Parliament. Why are you regarding it as even worse?
There are certain clauses that we felt that should have been addressed, but were not addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is the whole issue of the code of conduct being handled by the Communication and Multimedia Tribunal. While the President acknowledged that the code of conduct cannot be handled by that tribunal, the explicit allocation of the code of conduct was not given. And therefore, in today's discussion, we agreed that the Media Council of Kenya purely will deal with the issues of the code of conduct that is located within the media bill. And therefore, the issues of behavior and conduct of journalists will be the preserve of the Complaints Commission of the Media Council of Kenya.
Right. And that is under self-regulation.
That's under self-regulation.
Right.
The other issue was the broadcasting code, which basically deals with the issues of licensing condition of the media houses that is located within the Communication and Multimedia Tribunal. We therefore agree that the issues to do with other behavior, like licensing, like dealing with telecommunication and courier services, those will be handled by the Multimedia Tribunal. And the Multimedia Tribunal will not handle issues of the code of conduct for journalists and the media houses. But when there is ethical issues, because there could also be ethical issues that to do with the code of conduct, those will be handled by the Multimedia Tribunal.
What is your view on what the President did?
The President, first of all, thank you. Listen, the President did what he wanted to do, and that is echoing what the committee came up with after a thorough research. For example, the 20 million shilling fine for the media houses, and the 1 million shilling for the journalist. We took a look at what the industry is doing. For example, in Europe, the fine for the journalist is more than 1 million euros. In US, it's not specified, but should you be taken to court, you can even close down shop because the fine could be exorbitant. In the past, media houses have paid under the table much more than that on their own volition without going to court. So, but this figure is not cut on stone. I mean, what they're saying on the TV is really
what do you mean it's not cast in stone? What you had earlier proposed
we could have agreed if they didn't like it. So, but
didn't they try to agree with the Committee of Parliament? Didn't you try to do that before?
Of course, we tried to discuss the issues of lowering the fines. But one thing we are happy about is that journalists can only be charged can be fined up to 100,000 shillings as per the media bill. And on ethical issue.
Yes.
And media house can be fined up to 500,000 shillings on ethical issues. Therefore, the transferring of ethical issues from the Multimedia Tribunal to the Media Council is a relief for the journalists. However, the 20 million shillings is still high, given that there are so many small media houses that are emerging in Kenya. to check on the conduct and behavior of the governors and so forth and so forth. And therefore, that would be a little bit high. Well, but we are in agreement that for the code of conduct of journalists and media houses that are located at the Media Council, the fine is fairly reasonable.
Hussein, that 20 million is across the board.
Yes.
And the way we took a look at it was, look, should Safaricom violate, or should some media house transmit a signal on top of another media house? What should be the real fine to stop this kind of behavior in the future? Mm-hmm. So we thought 20 million is convenient, and even the president brought it back as 20 million, except for the journalist,
which was reduced to
500,000.
What informed you? What informed the committee when it was setting it at 1 million for a journalist?
We were just taking a look at across the board in neighboring countries, Europe, and so on. Mm-hmm. And ours is the lowest, in fact.
Okay, I mean, with all due respect to the things you are considering.
Also, Hussein,
yeah.
that 1 million, or that 1 million which we put in there, if a journalist violates the code, surely it's not that journalist to pay. It's really the employer.
The question, but the question was, and what was difficult was, who gets to decide that the journalist has violated the code? It's a tribunal which has been formed largely by the hands of the cabinet secretary. It will have some interference with the cabinet secretary, and that is where the problem was. The other thing is, you talk about what has been happening in other countries.
Yes.
We know in Kenya we have some radio stations whose turnover cannot even be about 5 or 10 million. When you give a fine of 20 million shillings, you're going to close over about 50% of the media industry in Kenya, looking at most of the community-based radio stations.
I don't think so. That 20 million is not just for the media house like Citizen. We take a look at the mobile network operators.
But including media houses.
Including media houses. Now you want to tell me media house cannot afford 20 million?
Some can't. We have some community-based radios which cannot afford that. But if I'll let him talk about that.
Now, what we're just concerned about is, as defenders of media freedom, is the issue of small media houses, community radio station, small publications that are emerging at county level, and imagining that the mention of this figure in itself is intimidating, and therefore that is in itself a constraint to media freedom. Mm-hmm. Right, and therefore the concern was that this figure, if it really goes to really a small media house, then we are going to constrain media freedom. But the relief is that most of the issues that are likely to deal with media houses are ethical in nature.
Yes.
And therefore, transferring them to the Media Council of Kenya through the Complaints Committee is somehow a relief. Yeah. And therefore, it's a kind of give and take in this regard.
Which has happened today.
Which has happened today. Yes.
Which is an agreement both of you, the committees sat with the media.
Yes.
Historically, there has never been anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be, I'll have to play the devil's advocate here. Yeah. There's an agreement today.
Yes.
I would want to ask you, why today? Why did it have to take all this time to come and have this agreement today? You had these talks before, I believe.
Yes, it's okay. Let us go into Christmas with some agreement. Yeah, if we find out that there's too much violation in the future, this is a parliamentary resolution. We can go back and change, if need be. But I mean, we had to balance these issues. So we agreed, okay, let the codes, be at 20 million, yeah. But for the journalists, 500. That is with regard to the code of conduct. Now, in the Media Council, through the Media Complaints Commission, now that one we have reduced tremendously. 100,000 for the journalists and
500,000
and 500,000
for the media house.
for the media house, which is not bad.
And other proposals today and agreements you've come about, including the separation of infrastructural and ethical
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
Would you then say the committee in itself, there was an oversight within the committee earlier?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say so.
You were saying you want to go to Christmas with disagreements.
Yes,
Meaning you realize you had made a mistake?
No, Kenyans need it. No, I cannot say we made a mistake, because what we put on the table for the president to sign are searched data. These searched data are within, I mean, they are correct. If you take a look at what's happening in our neighboring countries, in Europe or elsewhere. In fact, in Kenya is really, I mean, the most free country when it comes to media. Recently, they were talking about Ethiopia, but Ethiopian government is still holding the ICT sector with a grip. I mean, there's no freedom at all. In Kenya, we have the freedom. Anybody can start an industry in ICT at will.
And that is why people are concerned that this is going to be reversed. The agreements that were proposed today, you all agreed. What assurance do you have that tomorrow you'll have members of parliament, 2/3 in parliament, to help pass all these agreements that you...
The members of parliament, some of the members of parliament have been champions of media freedom.
Yes.
And they have spoken about this matter in their private functions in parliament. And we are calling upon them and telling them that this is the opportunity they have to put things and to make things right for posterity of this country. We are calling them upon where they are, that tomorrow is a D-Day for all Kenyans and media freedom, and they should come and deliberate and make the right decisions for our country.
Mheshimiwa, finally,
yes,
because we have had to agree now after the president's memorandum.
Yes.
Of course, it's good we have agreed, but it's still a bit late that it has to come to this. What can you assure the people of Kenya and maybe the media fraternity about tomorrow? Because we need about 233 MPs, 2/3 majority.
We cannot guarantee, but we will ask members of parliament to show up in numbers so that we could pass this document. If it doesn't pass, I think the Speaker has the prerogative to even extend it for another 6 months, but ideally 27th was the deadline and no more. But if it doesn't pass, I mean, the Speaker must speak out and guide us. But I want to tell you that the Media Council, their grievances were very, very, I mean, what they were saying that the committee put in were really small. They came up with a whole list, brand new ideas, which we agreed to take. That's why I was saying that we came to some agreement. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting then.
It was.
Very interesting. And it'll be even more interesting tomorrow to see what happens in the National Assembly. Thank you very much, Engineer James Rege,
Thank you.
a member of the Energy and Information Committee of the National Assembly, and also Karachuonyo MP, and of course, Haron Mwangi, CEO of Media Council of Kenya. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for making time for us tonight. Janet, it's back to you.